Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the video that I feel like I wait every year to make. And it is my top 10 favorite beauty products of 2020. Not only do I love making and filming favorites videos, but I especially love collabs with very, very good friends, which this video today is. I am collabing with Abby Bliss White from the channel Abby Bliss White. I am sure that you know who she is. She is absolutely fabulous. I have collabed with her before. She is a sweet, dear, dear friend of mine. And I love her content. She is all luxury. So I felt like this is a great collab because you're going to see a mixture of luxury and even a drugstore and middle of the road in my favorites. But if you are all about luxury, then you are definitely going to want to watch her video. If you don't know much about luxury, you're going to want to watch her video because she's going to have really good suggestions on things to try out. So be sure after you watch this video to check hers out. I will link all of her information down in the description bar, but honestly, please subscribe to her. She is just beautiful inside and out. I love every inch of her, and I think you will too. So I wanted to do top 10 because I felt like if I were to just do my top favorites of 2020, it would be an hour-long video, and I felt like forcing myself to choose 10 was really going to show you the standouts of 2020. Now, I did not necessarily pick everything that launched in 2020, but everything I'm going to talk about was purchased by me in the year of 2020. I have all of the not all of the products, but everything on my face, most of it, is what I'm going to be talking about today. So what I did was I filmed this look for this week's Instagram Get Ready With Me, which I upload on my stories every Wednesday. So if you're not following me on Instagram, be sure to do so that you can see this look that I will post tomorrow on Instagram so you can see all of these products in action. So without further ado, let's jump into my favorite. Let's start with complexion. Okay, here's the thing. I think Abby did this too. I'm pretty sure we cheated a little bit because, as you'll see, this is my favorite primer and it's from the same brand, but it's two different primers. I'm counting it as one. Y'all will forgive me, I know. These are the Osmosis primers that launched this year, both the Luminous Treatment Primer and the Skin Perfecting Matte Primer. So I have the Luminous primer underneath my foundation today. This is a gorgeous, what it states, luminous skincare infused primer. That's it right there. Oh, so pretty. And then the matte primer, here's the thing. I don't really have oily skin, but the matte primer is very, very, very similar to the Hourglass Mineral Veil primer that I know so many people love. The consistency, the way it performs, very, very similar. I love this because it's not overly drying on my skin. It works under all foundations, but it also ensures that not necessarily it will keep my face matte because, again, I'm not oily and I don't really have that issue, but it will ensure that whatever foundation I put on top of it is going to last all day long. And it also has a really nice blurring property as well. So those are most definitely my two standout primer picks for the year. I got the Luminous in July and the matte in September, and I have been loving them both. Let's talk about foundation. Y'all will be so incredibly proud of me for only picking two foundations, which was not easy considering that is like my very favorite makeup product ever is foundation. I did have a very close third that I talked about, or that I will be talking about on my Instagram video. But the two foundations that have stood out to me the most, and one of them is a little bit of a cheat because I've only had it for like a month, but that's how much I love it. The first one is the one I have on my skin right now, and it is the Beautycounter Skin Twin Featherweight Foundation. This line of foundations was launched in May. I have talked about this a lot. It has made it into my top 5 foundations since its launch. Again, it's what I have on today. I'm in the color medium 340, and it is just perfection for me. It is a solid medium coverage foundation. It is buildable. It's the perfect color. It wears all day long, no matter what powder or primer or no primer that I use with it. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I never, ever, 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 ever wear this and don't at the end of the day look at it and be like, wow, my foundation lasted and looked great all day long. So I had to choose this for my liquid foundation of the year. Hands down, the best. And then I have a little powder foundation edition, which is crazy. As you know, if you have been watching me, especially on Instagram, because I've been talking about it a lot, I am in the process of trying out all of my powder foundations, which I believe are 17 of them, and ranking them with copious notes for a best of powder foundations video that I hope to get up in the next couple of weeks. Now, I have tried 8 or 9 of the 17 so far. I don't want to say tried because a lot of them I have tried already. I mean, they were in my collection, but I have retried them and taken notes on them. This so far is a standout. Now, I'm not saying it's going to get the #1 spot at the very end of everything because I haven't tried all of them and compared them to this. And I'm also not saying that there's some very, very, very close seconds because there already are, but I have to give a shout out to the Chantecaille Powder Foundation Compact. Compact Makeup is what they call it. I hauled this from Look Fantastic and talked about it in their Black Friday sale video, and I flipping love it. Now, I used to be completely against powder foundations, which goes to show that you should never say never, and I, in my older years, have learned that to be the case because I have just fallen back in love with powder foundation, and this is glorious on the skin. I will be talking about it obviously in that powder foundation video, but it just looks like skin. It stays on your skin fabulous. It doesn't dry it out. It works well even on dry patches. It's just gorgeous. It doesn't oxidize. It doesn't flake off. It doesn't get shiny. It doesn't get too matte. Like really and truly, it stays true to itself all day long on the skin, and it just looks like perfected skin. I am in the color Camel. They don't have the most extensive shade range, unfortunately, and it was a little hard for me to determine what shade I was. So I actually reached out to Angela on Instagram. She is a Chantecaille rep that does a lot of work with Abby, and so we've become like Instagram friends, and I ask her a lot of questions, and I asked her to color match me, so I will put her Instagram handle down underneath this link. So if you have any questions about what color you might want to try out in this compact makeup, then you can ask her and she will help you because she recommended Camel and it is the perfect color for me. So definitely a standout, even though I've only had it for a little over a month. Concealer. I had one standout concealer this year that I purchased in July, and this is actually from the drugstore, and it is hands down the best concealer that I have found from the drugstore, and it is Revlon Candid Antioxidant Concealer. I have not tried any of the other Revlon Candid products, but this was recommended to me from a viewer slash friend of mine, and I am so glad that I tried it. I am in the shade Light Medium, which, to be fair, I feel like is a little darker than you would think a light medium would be. That is it right there. That's not a problem for me because I prefer a little bit of a darker concealer. It is what I have on today, and it's what I use in the video for Instagram, so you'll be able to see it in action if you haven't already, because I have used this quite a bit since I have purchased it in July, and it is just fabulous. I feel like it has a good solid medium coverage. It's not exactly full, but it's nice medium coverage. It does not crease on me at all, and it just stays looking nice all day long. I have some concealers that I absolutely adore when I first put them on, and then I adore them 3 hours later, but then by the end of the day, I'm like, oh my goodness, my under eyes look maybe 15 years older than I actually am. And that's not the goal when I use concealer at all. So I just don't feel like I ever had that issue with this. It's affordable. It's from the drugstore. It's easily attainable. I'm very, 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 very happy with this find slash purchase in 2020. I have 2 more kind of complexion products. One is a bronzer, and this is the Gucci bronzer that launched this year. It took me a little bit of a hot minute to purchase this because I kind of felt like it was possibly one of those things that launched and it may have just been overhyped because I felt like everybody was talking about it. I'm just like, could it really be that good? And when everybody talks about something, I tend to pull back from it. I'm like, it just kind of is a red flag for me. It maybe shouldn't be, but that's just the way I've always been. So it took me a little bit of a minute to buy this bronzer, but I am so glad I did. It's what I have on my face today. I have the color number 3. I have not obviously seen other bronzers within this line in person, but that is number 3 swatch, and I find it to be the perfect color. I feel like I heard someone say number 2 is actually darker than this. Again, I can't say for sure, but number 3 for me is perfect. This is a matte bronzer, and I don't really know how to explain why it's so good. I guess it just blends out really well. The color is really nice on my skin. I'm not saying this is like the best bronzer end all be all to ever have launched, but it is one of my favorite bronzer purchases, probably my favorite from 2020, because I did go through my drawer. I've had a lot of favorites, but this was just a standout for me. It does come with, well, my daughter took it, a little brush, which was kind of comical because I don't see how any bronzer could be applied with the brush that it was packaged with. So I could have done without that, but the bronzer itself is what matters, and it is glorious. The last complexion product is the Jane Iredale Illuminating Lights Face Palette. Now, this was hard. I knew something from Jane was gonna have to be in this top 10. I could have made the entire top 10 from Jane because I bought a lot of her stuff in 2020 and I love everything, but I really didn't want it to be so heavy on Jane. I wanted to have a little bit of variety, and y'all hear me talk about Jane all the time and know my favorites. And I've had a lot of requests to do a designated Jane Iredale blush video, so that will be coming soon where I swatch all of the blushes. But this is the holiday palette that launched, and again, it's the Illuminating Lights palette, and this is one of the most perfect all-in-one palettes that I have ever used. It has a setting / finishing powder right here called Moonlight. It has 2 highlights right here, 2 blush colors, and a bronzer color. So if I were to go travel somewhere, I could take this for all of my powder products and be set. I would have my setting powder, my blush, my highlight, my bronzer, and all of my eyeshadows because they are all so gorgeous as eyeshadows, and I wouldn't need to pack a single other thing. So these are the main 5 colors. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to swatch the setting / finishing powder, but these are the 2 blushes, the bronzer, and the 2 highlights. Again, so pretty. I showed this in more depth and talked about how I use it in the Jane Iredale holiday video that I put up, which I'll try to put up in a card. Last time I tried to do cards, it was not working properly. So if I can't get it in a card, I will list it down in the description box. But this is just such a good all-around palette. It is great quality, performs fabulously, and I love the color selection in it. So that most definitely I felt like was an all-inclusive Jane product that had to go in my favorites. Okay, I have a couple of eye products that I want to talk about as far as eyeshadow. The first is what is on my eyes today, and that is one of the new Dior Quints. I think Abby might be talking about these too, which tells you how fabulous they are. I am pretty sure she has more than I do. I have 3 of them. I have Mitza, which is probably my second favorite, but it may be tied with the one that I have on as my favorite, but it's really pretty gold tones, a little bit on the warmer side, but it's got some pretty, a burgundy, a really pretty eyeliner shade. This makes very gorgeous, soft, warm looks on the eyes. The first one that I got is called Nude Dress, and this is it's much lighter than Mitza, and it's very neutral, gonna make great neutral, easy looks. It's pretty much all-inclusive. You've got a little bit of a transition shade, you have a little bit of a darker shade, you've got your inner corner and brow bone highlight, you've got a couple of lid colors. For a quint, I feel like this is a very nice all-around color selection to give you a full eye look, especially if you're not wanting lots of color. Now, I have color on my eyes today, and this is tied with Mitza as being my favorite, and this is Rouge Trafalgar. So this is what I have on my eyes today. I have this color on the lid topped with this color right here, and I have these 2 colors underneath the lash line. I just love these palettes. They are great pigmentation. And here's just a couple of colors from the Rouge Trafalgar. Just dipping my fingers in very lightly. Gorgeous, gorgeous colors. They have lots of different ones to choose from. They're Dior, so they're not going to be the cheapest. But if you're able to get them on sale or even ask for them for a last minute Christmas present, I don't think you will be disappointed at all. And then for my second eye / complexion product, I would be remiss if I did not talk about my Lancome monochromatiques. Holy cow, y'all, I fell so hard for these this year. The first one that I got was Eclat, and I put labels on all of my makeup to see when I got it, and I purchased this on January 11th. So this was my first 2020 monochromatique. Y'all, I hit pan. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's a tiny little pan that you can see, but it's there, I promise. This was my first monochromatique purchase, and I love this. I love this not only for eyeshadow, but for highlight especially. Now, I have the Jane Iredale highlight on my face today, but oh my goodness, this is just the most glorious highlight shade for the eyes and the face. It's so pretty. So I bought that one, fell in love with it, and the second one I got was called A La Mode, or is called A La Mode. And I use this in my full face Lancome video. I use these two, the Eclat and the A La Mode, if you want to see them in action. But this is a gorgeous bronze shade. These all have a little bit of a sheen to them. Oh, just so pretty. But they are so smooth, so easy to blend out, so gorgeous on the eyes. Now, these can be used, obviously, on the cheeks, the eyes, and I've even seen some people use them on the lips. Not tried them on the lips yet, but this as an eyeshadow, oh my goodness. Look at that sheen. So pretty. And then I turned around after that Lancome video that I did and took part in their 25% off Black Friday sale and purchased 3 more. I got Mademoiselle, which is this really pretty, warm, terracotta, orange color. I mean, I wish you could see how little I am pressing into the pan to get this color payoff. Oh, so that's Mademoiselle. This is Haute Couture, which is like a burgundy berry. Y'all, can you tell how much I love these? So much. And then finally, this is what I have on my cheeks as a blush. And it is Petit Bisou, B-I-S-O-U. And it's a gorgeous pink color. I've not had a chance to try this on my eyes yet, but again, that's what I have used as a blush. Just, you can't go wrong. I really kind of want to make all of these mine in the collection because I do have like maybe even 4 other colors. I get so many compliments on my eyeshadow when I use these. They're so easy. They're great one and done shades. Definitely a favorite of mine for 2020. We are almost done. We have got lips and fragrance to talk about. So for lips, I feel like my favorite lipstick that I purchased and that launched in 2020 are the Fit Glow Beauty Cream lipsticks. So I've talked about these a lot. I have the color Buck on my lips today, which, surprise, surprise, is a really pretty pinky nude color. I also have Beach, which this has a little bit of a sheen to it. It's also nude, but it's got a little bit more brown in it. And Buff, which this is a little bit darker than Beach, and it doesn't have that sheen. So those are the 3 colors that I have. This is the color that I have on my lips today. Just gorgeous formula. Love Fit Glow. Love their lip serums. I got a lot of them in 2020, but I've had them longer than that. So I talk about them so much that I wanted to talk about another lip gloss, but love these lipsticks. And then finally, the lip gloss that I feel like I purchased and just used the absolute most, I got this in May, is from Goss. And this is the color Tulip. And it is just a very kind of beigey nude color. I love this by itself, but I really love this as a topper. So I have it over the Fit Glow lipstick. I'll put a little bit more on. It's comfortable. It's not too goopy. It's definitely not sticky. It really works well over any lipstick that I apply it over. And I love it. I have Hyacinth as well, but Tulip is my favorite color. Okay, so those are my top 10 favorite beauty. Abby and I did decide to add in a couple of bonus fragrance, especially her. She is like fragrance connoisseur. And so I was like, okay, I can pick my top 3 fragrances. Can't remember whether she did 2 or 3, but if I had to guess, it would be 3, maybe even more. But I picked my top 3 that I purchased in 2020 because this, for me, was the year of fragrance. Like, I just really got into fragrances this year. The first one will come as no surprise. It is Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. I purchased this one in October during the Sephora sale, and I fell so head over heels in love with it that I purchased another one during the Sephora sale so that I would have it on backup. I wasn't quite ready to pull the $340 price tag. I wasn't ready for that. This size right here is the travel size, and it was $75, so it was $60 after the 20% off. I could stomach even 2 of those better than the $340 one, but the $340 one is not gonna be a never purchase for me because I love this so much. Ugh, it's like a smoky cherry scent. Out of all of the ones that we smelled in my haul, because my daughters did the perfume section with me, this was all of our favorites combined. They loved it. I love it. Every time I wear it, they tell me how good I smell. So, so, so good. Another one that I was very surprised with is the Black Opium Intense from Yves Saint Laurent. I love the Black Opium perfume, the original. I purchased this one in that same Sephora sale. It's in the blue bottle versus the red that the original is in. And this is just a little bit smoother, I feel like, than the original. A little bit really hard to explain. So I don't know that I can. But there's just something about it that even edges above the original for me. And the original has always been a favorite. I love this one so much. So if you haven't smelled that, definitely give that a try. And then this was an Abby made me do it purchase. I honestly could do a whole video of things that Abby has made me purchase. But this is from Chantecaille, and this is the Frangipan. I don't know if it's Frangipan or Frangipani. And I purchased, she did like a live with Angela from Chantecaille talking all about fragrance. Because before that, I didn't even know Chantecaille had fragrances. That's how out of the loop I was. I'm like, what? Fragrances? And then I saw these gorgeous bottles, and I got 2 of them. I love both of them. I also have vetiver, but out of the 2, this is my favorite. And it's a very gourmand fragrance. It's got some notes of like caramel and I haven't put any on today, fragrance. So I think I'm going to use this one. It's just, it just smells so good. She's going to do a better job of explaining this than me because it's really hard for me to explain fragrances. But I love the bottle, the longevity is really, really, really good for me. And I like sweet fragrances or manly fragrances. Say it all the time. I either want to smell like cake or I want to smell like a man. So those are the 2 kind of sides of the spectrum that you're going to see in my fragrance collection. And this one is the one that's going to be on the cake side of the spectrum. And vetiver is going to be on the man side of the spectrum. So you can see just for my 2 choices of Chantecaille perfumes, what I like. So that is going to wrap up this favorites video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always with favorites, I want to know your favorite of 2020. I will be doing a separate December favorite in a week or 2 because I have purchased some things this month that I just didn't felt like warranted being in my yearly favorites, but that I do want to tell you about. So be on the lookout for that. Be sure and check out Abby's video. I can guarantee you she's going to have amazing recommendations, and subscribe to her if you are not already. Thank y'all so much for watching. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. I hope you're all staying happy, healthy, safe, and sane, and that most of all, you go out and have a very blessed day.